All right, lovelies. I got asked a great question in our live Half Size Me community webinar last night, and I just wanted to riff off of it a little bit here with you. So somebody asked me a great question. They said, do you believe in weight set point theory? And I've actually read into this quite a bit, and my answer is really no. I believe that if we were to take a human being and put them in a lockdown situation and force feed them an extremely low calorie diet and have them do physical labor, that you could get their body weight down to really all kinds of crazy low levels, right? I mean, if we look back historically, this has been done. However, if we're talking about people in a free living society, aka where we are now, right? We have what I call set point habits. What do I mean by that? I mean that I often talk about, for most people, when they have quite a bit of weight to lose, they have what we call the low hanging fruit, right? They are reducing alcohol consumption, snacks, treats, eating out, cooking more at home, more fruits and vegetables. And basically, due to a lot of those big changes, they will drop weight and I usually hear fairly easily, like if they're 100 plus pounds overweight, that first 50 so or whatever come off just due to those little like easy low hanging fruit changes. The more you want to manipulate your weight, the more you want to hit a specific goal or target after you've gotten all that low hanging fruit off the tree, it requires a real dial in to your habits. And so what I find for most people is that's where the resistance happens, right? You'll hear people say, Heather, I've lost 40 something pounds. I still think I should lose another 20, but I'm really finding it difficult. I'm struggling in the same couple pound range. What do you think about that? And really what this is once you've got that low hanging fruit off the tree, you've got to dial your habits in quite a bit to get the rest of it off. This, by the way, is why I tell people all the time, really evaluate what you're willing to do for the long term. Because you will find people who get up on stage in a bikini and they compete and they do all kinds of manipulation to get themselves up there. I usually get the opportunity to see them afterwards at the gym when they're struggling later with binge eating, overeating, and they've gained quite a bit of weight back because they were not doing behaviors that they could sustain long term. And then there was a compensatory gain back that happens after that event. So in the short answer, can anyone's body be dropped to a certain new level of weight with a false living experience? Absolutely. Like with intentional focus, really maybe unsustainable behaviors? Yes. So I don't believe that our bodies cannot drop to a lower weight. What I do believe is that once we get the low hanging fruit off the tree, the amount of attention to detail with your habits and behaviors may not be something you want to do long term in order to achieve those lower body weights that you think you should weigh. And this is why I'm going to encourage you to really dive deep and ask, why are you doing it? Because if, let's just say you did lose the 40 pounds, you're in a much better place, you're off your medication, you're physically moving better, and I know you think you should lose another 20, but you're finding that you're enjoying your life, you're having pizza out with your friends once a week, and you maybe go get drinks with your buddies after work once a week, and you're doing these things you enjoy, and really the trade-out would be having to give those things up for the additional 20 pounds and really micromanaging how maybe you're eating day to day, limiting fruit, maybe even having to weigh out your vegetable portions. Like if you've got to get into that kind of nitty gritty with your habits and behaviors, is that really something you're going to want to sustain long term? And so then what that means is we need to make peace with this idea of letting our habits and our willingness to change, and I always use the example of two roads colliding, right? You've got your eating behaviors and you've got your fitness behaviors. And I tell people, obviously hit the low hanging fruit first. Once you have refined, then you start questioning, okay, Do I need to go out 3 times a week with my friends? Maybe I'm willing to do 2. I see where that takes me. I keep refining until I'm not willing to refine any further. Wherever those 2 roads collide, maybe that for you is 2 yoga sessions, 2 running sessions, 1 strength training session, daily walks combined with tracking your food, going out to eat twice, and having 2 days of alcohol. If those morphs of habits bring you to 158 pounds, but you believe you should weigh 138, live at 158. It's not about a set point theory. It's where do your habits take you, and what habits are you not willing to negotiate away, or what behaviors are you not willing to negotiate away just to achieve a lower body weight? And that's what you really want to think of. So in the short, if someone says, could I weigh X? Sure. Lock yourself away somewhere in a dungeon and get spoon-fed 900 calories a day and be thrown up on a treadmill and do physical labor. You can alter somebody's body weight in humane or inhumane or not humane conditions. That's really not the question. The question is in a free living society where you come and go to work, you have your kids, you do stuff, can you create habits that support you at that weight you think you want to be? And honestly, do you enjoy the life you're living at that body weight? Where I would make the point to you, really go from the enjoyment happiness factor. Look at the behaviors you're willing to modify. Look at the fitness you're willing to do. And wherever those 2 roads collide for you, that's your weight. That's where you end up. And it may not match a BMI chart or what your doctor suggests or what you've been told from being a kid that this is what you should weigh. Okay, but if it lets you live your best life, if it's habits you can actually keep up with, if it feels good to you and it's better than where you were, right? That's the weight that you might need to settle in at. So, we have to remember our habits support the weight we are. If I take you out of your environment and I put you away, we can change your body weight very falsely, right? If we want you to be able to keep this weight off living your everyday life, then this has to be a manifestation of the habits you're willing to change in your everyday life. It can't be false. Hence why people go on these extreme detoxes, extreme diets, do these extreme things, and they do it for 30, 90 days. And yes, in that time period, they lose a lot of weight, but they're not doing things they're willing to sustain long term. This is why I've, from day one, said it's all about your habits. It's all about how you choose to live your life. And for me, I'd rather be 150, get to go enjoy some treats, have some popcorn at the movies, have some pizza with my kiddos, have a nightly treat, than force myself to be 135 and have to potentially negotiate those things away. Do I believe my set point weight is 150? No. I believe if I was willing to give all those things up, I could hit a much lower weight. But I don't care to. And that's the fun thing. As you mature in this, as you become a little older, a little wiser, you start to let go of what other people think you should be, and you start to settle into what you want to be. So I hope this message makes sense. I hope it's helpful. I want to encourage you to subscribe to me on YouTube and to please feel free to share my videos with other people who might be on their weight loss journey. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I will talk to you guys soon.